You wake up and check your phone just like everyone else, scroll through recycled content, digesting someone else's thoughts, opinions, fears, and aspirations before you've even heard your own inner voice. You eat what they eat, or what they were, think what they think, and then wonder why you feel stuck. You've been programmed to believe that normal is safe, that average is acceptable, and that blending in is wisdom. But what if I told you that the very act of fitting in is the reason you'll never stand out? The system rewards obedience, not brilliance. It honors conformity, not creativity. From the classroom to the workplace, they don't want you to question, they want you to follow rules, memorize facts, and forget your intuition. The smartest minds in history weren't those who followed the crowd. They were the ones who walked alone and built paths where none existed. If your thoughts mirror the herd, then your future will too predictable, replaceable, forgettable. You've been taught that security comes from following the blueprint, but that blueprint was designed to keep you in line, not to help you fly. They sell you the dream of success, then hand you the same broken tools. Everyone else has a degree, a job, a mortgage, a routine, all of it wrapped in a bow called stability. But real success, real freedom, it demands rebellion. It demands that you think dangerously, that you ask uncomfortable questions and listen to the answers that scare you. You will never win if your thoughts are hand-me-downs borrowed from society, culture, or fear. The moment you start thinking like everyone else is the moment you sign up for mediocrity. You're told what's possible, what's realistic, what's responsible, but those definitions are written by people who benefit from your limitation. The world doesn't change because of agreement, it changes because someone dares to disagree. The biggest threat to the system is an individual who thinks independently, who is unafraid to be misunderstood, ridiculed, or alone. The masses are kept busy fighting over opinions, distracted by trivial drama, hypnotized by shiny screens, while the few who think differently reshape the world quietly, intentionally, relentlessly. They want you chasing trends, because as long as you're chasing, you're not creating. They want you addicted to approval, because as long as you crave likes, you'll avoid truth. They want you entertained, because as long as you're laughing, you won't be learning. The first step to winning is unlearning. Stop trying to fit in with a world that's broken. Stop asking for directions from people who've never been. We're gonna go, don't follow the loudest voice, follow the one inside you, even when it trembles, even when it's silent. The greatest victories begin with a single thought that dares to be different, and that thought must be yours, not borrowed, not filtered, not safe. You'll be called arrogant, delusional, crazy, but remember, every visionary is called that until their vision becomes reality. You weren't made to echo the world. You were made to redefine it. So if you keep thinking like everyone else, you'll keep living like everyone else. And if that's what you want, comfort, routine, predictability, then keep scrolling, keep nodding, keep waiting. But if you want more, if you want to win, then stop thinking like a crowd. But not too big, because big dreams make small minds uncomfortable. You're told to speak up, but only when it aligns with what's popular, because truth is dangerous and comfort sells. They package mediocrity as maturity, play it safe as wisdom, and obedience as honor. But what they call growing up is often just giving up. They want you polite, agreeable, tame, a good student, a loyal employee, a silent citizen, but none of those roles were meant to lead. They were meant to follow the world. Doesn't belong to those who obey. It belongs to those who defy. The moment you choose to question rather than comply, you become a threat to the machine, because the system doesn't fear violence, it fears awareness. It doesn't crumble under force, it collapses under awakening. You've been told to wait your turn, follow the rules, stay in line. But history was never written by the patient or the polite. It was carved by those who refused to think like everyone else. When you start to think differently, you don't just change your life, you change your legacy. The real battlefield isn't outside, it's in your head. The enemy isn't the competition, it's the conditioning. You've been programmed to seek permission, to chase validation, to fear judgment. But who benefits from your hesitation? Not you, not your family, not your future. The crowd moves as one, easily controlled, easily distracted, easily forgotten. But those who separate themselves, who choose the path of isolation and introspection, they become immortal. Not in years, but in impact. When you think differently, you act differently. When you act differently, you live differently. When you live differently, you win differently. Success isn't just about money, it's about meaning. And meaning comes when you stop living like a copy and start creating like an original. They say, don't reinvent the wheel, but the wheel was invented by someone who dared to question the cart. You'll be called rebellious, but rebellion is just the first sign of freedom, you'll be told. You're difficult, but difficulty is the birthplace of greatness. The system fears you not because you're wrong, but because you might be right. And if you're right, then everything they taught you collapses, and that's why they push you to conform to doubt, to wait. Because the moment you believe in your own mind is the moment you escape. There's every minute you spend thinking like everyone else is a minute stolen from your genius, from your truth, from your revolution. Your power isn't in how loud you are. It's in how deep your thoughts go. Your victory isn't in applause, it's in authenticity. And your future doesn't begin when others accept you. It begins the moment you accept yourself, unfiltered, unapologetic, uncontrolled. There will be pressure to return to the herd, to silence your voice, to dim your fire. But remember, conformity is a cage built by fear and disguised as belonging to people you admire, the most thought like no one else they were. Called madmen, prophets, heretics, and later they were. Called legends, you don't need 1,000 people to agree with you. You need one you. You are the beginning of the end of the cycle. You are the disruption in the pattern, the anomaly in the code. The moment you decide to stop thinking like them is the moment the world starts changing because of you. So ask yourself, are your thoughts yours? Or are your fears real? Or inherited? Is your life chosen or scripted? Because if you don't answer those questions, the system will answer them for you. To believe success is a formula, a step-by-step manual handed down by institutions designed not to elevate, but to control. They handed you textbooks, not tools, gave you answers, but never taught you to ask questions. They told you success was a destination lined with degrees, approvals, job titles, and retirements. But you weren't born to retire, you were born to rise. They measured intelligence with grades, but never curiosity. They celebrated obedience, but punished originality. They made you fear failure, when in truth failure was your greatest mentor. Success is not a product of routine, it's born in rebellion. The greatest minds never asked for permission. They broke patterns, shattered norms, and burned bridges to build empires. They walked alone, laughed at the odds, and trusted the voice inside, louder than the noise outside. Everyone wants to be successful, but they fear being different. But if you fear being different, you fear the very thing that leads to greatness. Thinking like everyone else is safe, comfortable, easy. But easy is where dreams go to die. You'll be told that your ideas are unrealistic. Until they change the world, you'll be told your voice is too loud. Until it becomes the anthem of the unheard, you'll be told to be humble. But that's code for stay small, stay quiet, stay in your lane. But you were never meant for lanes, you were built for skies. The truth is most people are too distracted to even know what they want. They chase trends, copy influencers, mirror success without understanding its source. But real power is internal, not external. It's the ability to close your eyes and still see the vision, to shut out the noise and still hear your calling. Thinking like everyone else creates copies, thinking like no one else creates leaders, icons, legends. Those who lead don't just reject the old ideas, they birth new ones. They create paths so powerful others can't help but follow. The world doesn't reward sameness, it rewards boldness. It doesn't remember the passive, it remembers the passionate. When you think differently, you intimidate the system because you become unpredictable, unmanageable. Free, and freedom is the enemy of control. The system survives because you doubt, it thrives because you conform, it grows because you silence yourself. But the moment you speak with your full voice, move with your full power, and think with your full truth is the moment the game changes completely. You are not here to blend in, you are here to break through, to shatter the mold, and sculpt a masterpiece out of your existence. Stop asking for instructions. The blueprint is in your soul. Success isn't something you find, it's something you become. It's not a path, it's a presence. It's not luck, it's clarity. Thinking like everyone else might make you fit in, but fitting in is the fastest way to disappear. You were never meant to fit, you were meant to stand, you were meant to shine, you were meant to be the one in the room who makes silence loud, who makes thoughts move, who makes the system shake. Your mind is the most dangerous weapon when it's your own. Your voice is the most powerful sound when it's unapologetic. Your story is the most valuable currency when it's unfiltered. You want to win, start by unlearning, start by unbecoming everything they told you to be. The system is a maze, but you're not a rat. You don't need to find the cheese, you need to burn the maze. Thinking like everyone else got the mediocrity. You want more, then think more, rise more, demand more. But most of all, be more, because the world doesn't need another version of the same. It needs the first version of you.